Hey there, welcome on in. It's time for Three Guys Before the Game. Alrighty, if you have a scorebook and you're scoring at home, it's episode 601. The episode title, Rod Returns and Frisco Bowl Preview. I guess it's the Scooters Frisco Bowl.
Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl.
Scooters Coffee. We got Sitch. Yeah, we're ready to go.
Roll on. Broken play.
Here's
Make something happen.
Make something happen. Next play.
Here's the deal, man.
What?
I think there's a very strong chance that in like 7 months, if I said to you, just came out of the blue, came at you and said, hey, what was the name of the bowl game West Virginia played? And you'd go like, it was in Texas. That's what you would give me, right?
Well, we'll see.
All right.
TBA. The things I remember, the things I forget, I cannot account for.
No, solid point. Three Guys Before the Game is brought to us by Comax Business Systems, keeping West Virginia's business data safe, secure, and efficient for 25 years. By Gomart. Get a Gomart rewards card and immediately begin saving on food and fuel. Go to Gomart.com for information. Download the app. Just download the Gomart app. It's as simple as that. Just go to your apps and go Gomart. They'll get you the app. By Lou Wendell Marine Sales in St. Albans. They sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com. By Tudor's Biscuit World. Start your day the homemade way with a Tudor's Biscuit. And by Conley CPA Group, providing value beyond numbers. All right, here we go. Rod Returns, Frisco Coffee Game Bowl Preview.
Frisco Coffee Game Bowl? Is that what you called it?
Yeah, Coffee Bowl. Coffee Bowl. I'm going to call it the Coffee Bowl in Frisco. All right, so here's the dealio, man. We're recording Monday morning early. I mean, it's like 3 in the morning. I don't know why we came in at 3 in the morning.
3 in the morning.
A little bit later than 3 in the morning. I've been up since 3 in the morning.
I know you have. You were here when I got here.
Yeah, I took his spot. He got all bummed out. First thing he said to me, took my spot.
Well, you
took 2 spots.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you took 2 spots because you're not even in straight, but that's a whole other story.
Yeah, that was the thing. Yeah. Not that he took a spot. You got here first. You're entitled to that spot. However, the way you just went, just pulled it, right, and somehow managed to take 3 spots.
I'm parked across the street.
Is that right? I tell you what, fine folks at Mark LaRose Ford, they need to have a couple spaces for that vehicle. Right, you need it. I came in sideways, huh?
You didn't park it well.
You came in hot and you came in sideways.
I did come in a little bit hot. I got to go, man. I got to run. It's a busy day. All right, so here we go. Been to a lot of Mountaineer Bowl games. This will be the 41st. Not for me, but for university. For the university, it's the 41st bowl game for West Virginia. And on only 2 occasions previous to this have I had this feeling going into a bowl game. And that is, I have 0 clue what's going to happen.
I thought that was the case with every bowl game.
No, you have a better feel. This one is, the Music City Bowl, Don Nehlen's last game,
right, where
the staff was lame duck, and you didn't know, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously the Fiesta Bowl, after, Rich had left, and it was Oklahoma. And the Fiesta Bowl, again, the lean on those games was there's no way they're going to play well. You had no thought whatsoever that anyone was going to be able to play. And let's face it, in this game here, mentally, you've got no idea. Does this team take on us against the world mentality? It's our last time together. Let's go out here and ball out. Or is it, I'm playing because I need to get my last NIL check. If I didn't play, I wasn't going to get my last NIL check, so I'll just kind of go out there. If you do, you're going to get boat raced because Memphis is good. Memphis is a solid football team. Offensively, they can move the football up and down the field. You will get boat raced if you go in half. Why do you ponder into the sky?
I'm just thinking about all this.
Looking for drones? What are you looking into the sky for?
No, I'm thinking about all this, and you're right. I think that it's hard to get a read on this game for all the reasons that you noted. And you can make an argument Brad, for a variety of things here. You can make an argument that, with all the changes at WVU and that, okay, whatever. But at the same time, I keep coming back to the fact that Wyatt Milam's playing. And the fact that Wyatt Milam's playing and all these guys are playing, Marshall, 30 guys opted out. They can't even play the bowl game. So something is causing them to want to play. So maybe that is reflective of a team character, and you'll see a solid performance. Maybe so. Memphis is an interesting story, too. Yes, they're pretty good, and we'll get into that with spreads on stats. But Memphis started the season by winning the bowl game last year against Iowa State and came in, they're going to win the AAC. And then after a couple of games where they beat Florida State, they're going to be in the 12. They're going to compete they're going to be in the 12. They're going to win the league. Didn't win the league, finished third in the league, obviously didn't get in the 12. Yeah, 10 wins, that's impressive, but did they underachieve a little bit based on their expectations? Are they excited to be there? I don't know. I think the game is actually fascinating for those reasons.
There's a lot going on in this one. And what's interesting is, you mentioned that Music City Bowl. That was what, 25 years ago, 24 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you got the same coach coming back. You got the same new coach as you did 25 years ago, which is interesting, right? That whole Rich that was his first event.
How many of those head snapping memories are we going to have? Like, you're putting it all together, right?
Yeah.
But what's different now versus then is some of those. You have players that aren't playing in this game for West Virginia. You don't know what the motivation is. You don't know if they're going to rally because it's the last time they're all together and they're going to play loose and they're going to go out, and Memphis has no idea from a game planning perspective what's going to happen. Or do they just all go in and say, you know what, it was a good run. This is the end of the run. We're out and we're not playing. You don't know. Nobody knows. We don't know. Coaches don't know. Nobody knows how this is going to turn out. Normally, Hop, I would stand up here and I would be pounding the strength of schedule ratings right now. Mm-hmm. You've got a Memphis team in the 100s, West Virginia in the top 25. Normally, I would make a strong case here that these teams, despite the record, are very similar. You start to look at a bunch of advanced stats, and I'm not going to go through them all, a bunch of advanced stats, a bunch of power rankings, and these two teams are right together, or West Virginia is slightly ahead. Remember, West Virginia opened as the favorite in this. But then you flip over to the other side, and if I have this stat right, not one team in West Virginia's situation won this game last year when they've lost a coach, and they're cycling into a new staff.
Right. And
I'm not sure any of them even covered the number, and that number's flipped all the way around to Memphis -4, -4.5. So it's an incredibly difficult. You didn't do your obvious observation, so I'll take it.
Go ahead.
An incredibly difficult situation for West Virginia to walk into. It's two teams or two programs in opposite ends of the spectrum. A very stable Memphis program with a 4-year starting quarterback that has been very good, playing in his final game 10 minutes from where he grew up, versus a West Virginia team that's in total flux in terms of staff, players, who's going to be there, who's actually going to play, who's going to play 5 snaps, who's going to play no snaps, who's going to play 70 snaps. So I'll give you some numbers coming up, but I'm not sure numbers really matter in this game. This is just simply going to be which of these two teams wants to come out and play, and what can you get from a West Virginia team that's in total transition mode right now.
Okay. I mean, I was
Does that close your obvious observations? Yeah. That it's an intriguing game?
Well, yeah, and I got to sneeze, so talk to somebody else.
Wow. Look at that guy.
I think it's intriguing. Like, you know me, I know I always default on, you guys always get on me. You get on me. I love all these bowls. I don't care if West Virginia's in flux. I don't know that I care who plays, who doesn't play. Just give me more football. I want to watch some football here. Wait 9 months for football games. Give me some more football. And I do think there's some things you can look at. And again, this is one of those. You've got a new staff coming in. How many of these guys on this West Virginia roster treat this as an open tryout? Which there's an element of open tryout to this, guys. Well, right? How many players say, you know what, I'm done. I'm gonna enter the portal anyway. It doesn't matter. I'm not playing. How many others say, you know what, I really like it there. I'd like to stick around. I'd like to be there, and I need to make an impression on who the new head coach is going to be. I really like this assistant coaching staff that has, and that's it. I should have started with that. I give those dudes a lot of credit. The assistant coaches and the support staff over there, guys. That is really difficult. Another obvious observation from you, Hop, but I think it needs to be said. That's really hard for those guys to not have any idea if they're staying, if they're not staying. They have families as well, many of them. And to try and have concentration on this particular group of guys, this game planning for this particular game, keeping that group together and not knowing what your future holds, that's not an easy task. These last couple of weeks have been extremely difficult on all of those folks. So first of all, a lot of respect for what that group has put together over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, but you've seen it. Agreed. I mean, the coach goes home and the spouse says, "Now, are we selling the house? Are we going here? Did you get a call?" So those things. But again, we've seen it before. Like the Oklahoma game, where you thought there was no chance. So you don't know, and for that reason and others, it makes it intriguing. And like I'm with Brad. I mean, good. Let's have another football game.
Football's a game, man. You can't go half. You can't go three quarters.
Well, you see what happens when you do.
You just get absolutely just torqued.
Yeah. So if West Virginia comes in here and plays, and Memphis rolls in saying, "Well, they're not ready. They're not going to be ready. I mean, we can just show up. They're not going to be ready," then you might have a game.
Yeah. You hope that the kids on the WV roster that plan on going into the portal look at it as, here's my last chance to be on tape for the team that I'm trying to impress, so I'm going to really show you what I can do. You hope that. For those that plan on or hope to stay, you hope they are going to go out there and play so that the new staff watches the tape and goes like, okay, yeah, that guy can play. You hope you get that, is what you're hoping for.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait.
But well, I think Brad will get into this, but I think just when you get into the game itself, you don't like the matchup in the sense that they're a pretty good offensive team.
Yeah, they are.
And with Hennigan, who's been there 11 years now and started 500 games, with Hennigan and the receivers and against West Virginia's pass defense.
Situational. I mean, Brad always talks about the situation. Situation is not good. When you're Seth Hennigan, their quarterback, and you grew up like
10 miles.
10 miles away, like your last college football game, like that's not a good situation if you're the other team, because he's going to go out there and really, try to make a statement.
Who was the last guy that started 4 years at the same school?
Was good.
Yeah, it was good. Yes, good all 4 years.
He's put some massive numbers up.
Yeah, crazy numbers.
Early spreads on stats.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second.
Oh.
Three guys before the game. We got Textual Healing coming up as well, plus Mountaineer basketball. West Virginia won again over the weekend. The women won yesterday in Philadelphia. They got another W.
Continue to win.
Yeah, they just continue to win. That's all they do. Three guys brought to us by Comax Business Systems, keeping West Virginia's business data safe, secure, and efficient for 25 years. Don't forget, if you're a business owner, as we head toward the end of the year, and maybe, you need to make a little bit of an investment business-wise, equipment-wise, taxes and things like that, maybe it might be a good opportunity now to get yourself a new business phone system. Comax has state-of-the-art systems from 1 line to 1,000 digital lines. They'll come in, free estimate. They'll evaluate your situation. You sit down, you talk to them. So this is what we do. This is how we need to use our phones. This is how many people I have out here. This is how many people there. And they'll come up with the perfect system to best make you as efficient as possible. Visit ComaxWV.com. That's ComaxWV.com. Three guys also brought to us by Lou Wendell Marine Sales. Did a little research over the weekend. You started reading some encyclopedias.
Excuse me?
So I found old set of encyclopedias. Didn't realize Christopher Columbus came over to this country using a Lou Wendell pontoon boat. And if you take a look there, now obviously they've changed a bit through the years, but those are inside of Lou Wendell Marine Sales in St. Albans. They do sell the Avalon pontoon boat, which is the premier pontoon made here in the United States of America, made in Michigan. And that's an inside look there for those of you that are watching at Lou Wendell Marine Sales. So if you're a boater or in a boating family, and obviously the season right now is a bit quiet, unless you go down south, you can get that boat owner some neat stuff this winter season. Get yourself a trailer tire.
What are you saying?
Put it underneath the Christmas tree. Get a big life raft.
Was the Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria, and the Avalon?
No. It was a lot of people, I'm glad you said that. It was the Nina, the Pinta, and the
Avalonia?
No.
The G-boat?
It was the Lou Wendellian. Lou Wendellian. They made it here. And now Thanks to Lou Wendell Marine Sales, we've got a country. All right, LouWendellMarineSales.com. All right.
Okay.
Well, maybe that may have just stretched. But all I'm saying is just visit Lou Wendell Marine Sales. They are, in all seriousness, the premier pontoon boat dealer here in the state of West Virginia. Music, please.
So I checked the numbers. We'll just go right to the numbers. Here comes a heater. Let's jump into the analytics portion of the show.
Spreads on Stats brought to us by the Conley CPA Group. That's right. This is going to be a struggle for Brad because he doesn't know how to handle the emotion of this game. And the numbers will tell us a story. But where are you mentally? Conley CPA Group does provide value beyond numbers, a complete service public accounting and consultation firm serving clients throughout West Virginia and surrounding states. You can outsource your accounting, which I think is just super neat. Why take that hassle, right? Did Brad work 1 or 2 days, right? Does he get mileage for that or not get mileage for that? Down there at Lately Field over the weekend for the Super 6, does he get a designated exemption on that? Conley CPA, you can outsource your accounting to them. Let them take care of it. Plus, they'll also outsource CFO services. They do it all. It's Conley CPA Group. Is this the most difficult assessment that you've made based upon the mental state?
It is, because normally, you know how I am by the end of the season. I love the numbers even more.
Very refined.
Because they've matured, right? You get a good picture of, okay, this makes some sense. Again, like I said in the beginning, I think the biggest one would be in a normal situation, Hop, I'd be all over this strength of schedule. If you look at Memphis's, they 106 in Sagarin, West Virginia 24th. So there's a giant gap here. I think they played 9 non-winning FBS programs. They had an FCS mixed in there. So I don't say I'd take anything away from them. I just say I would have liked to have seen, we talked about the strength of the Big 12 all year. I would have liked to have seen how that stacked up with a 6-6 record against a 10-win team that didn't play the same strength of schedule. But I don't know that that will even be a factor.
Looking at their schedule, I'll tell you what stood out to me was they did beat the Tulane, but Tulane turned the ball over 3 times. And Navy scored 55 on them.
Yeah, they gave up 100 in their 2 losses. Yeah. So you can score on them at times. It's interesting you bring up the turnovers. Plus 16, is that good? Plus 16 on the year.
Top 10 in the country, isn't it?
Number 2. Yeah. Probably just start with that.
Yeah.
That's a massive number for a West Virginia team that has struggled in that area. So certainly keep an eye on that right away. Let's just go big picture first. You guys have mentioned Hennigan a couple of times. What a year he's had. What a career he's had. Just do year first. 23 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. You go to the big-time throw metric. Maybe he's due for a couple of balls that could be picked off here. He had 29 big-time throws, 23 touchdowns. Those are fairly close. Only 6 interceptions, but 13 turnover-worthy plays. Can you get him to throw 1 or 2 in there that maybe you come up with? He's had 1,777 pass attempts in his career, in his 4 years. He's thrown almost 2,000 passes.
How many total yards? Do you have that there?
13,000.
In his career, 14,002. He's thrown for 14,000 yards. So, Hop, the another, I'm just stealing your obvious observations today. That's your biggest concern, right?
Yeah.
An offense that can throw it, a quarterback that has seen about everything you can see. You're probably not going to be able to confuse him too much against a West Virginia pass defense that has had just a very few moments where it's looked good, most moments where it's really struggled. So that's a giant concern, obviously, is the passing offense of Memphis versus West Virginia's defense. If you want an advanced stat off of that, go to that EPA number I like to use, expected points added, just the rate of successful plays you have. Memphis's offense is 34th in the country in expected points added per pass, going against a West Virginia defense that's 133rd.
Yikes.
So there's quite a gap right there. That's one of the worst in the country, as we know.
How many many total yards has he thrown for?
14,002.
You going to do miles, Tony?
Yes.
14,002.
It's like
he's thrown for just a hair under 8 miles.
Yeah, he's
from here.
He's been really good.
From here to the Coliseum, plus a little bit.
Really consistent for all those passes. Never more than 9 interceptions in a single season.
Coach's son
never
knows where to throw it.
Picks, guy.
Reads coverage.
Yeah, he's good. So again, situationally favored to Memphis. passing game favored to Memphis. Here's one to watch. Tony, we talked to Memphis's play-by-play voice late last week. Yeah. This was an area. You're getting a top 10 Memphis run defense against a West Virginia team that what's it do well?
Yeah, it wants to run.
Right? When it wins, it runs. So how does that stack up? Again, are those numbers inflated for Memphis going against the schedule it went, or is that going to be a bouncy defense that gives West Virginia struggles against the run? Quarterbacks running the ball have given Memphis a little bit of trouble, though, even though overall opponents' rush games have not been good. So can West Virginia get anything out of that side of things? That's basically my football numbers. I mean, I could give you 1,000 more. I don't know that it matters. Those are the big things. Don't turn it over. Have you heard us say that before? Have success running it against what's a top 10 rush defense on paper, and can you somehow contain Hennigan in that passing game for a West Virginia pass defense that's really struggled?
Be really interested to see how Garrett plays.
I think he'll ball.
Hope he goes out and plays.
I don't think he's not one that I question whether or not he's going to go ball out. But does he take it to a different level? Does he, with his legs, with his wheels? Does he just say, "Okay, here we go"? Does Chad Scott? How's Chad going to call the game?
Yeah, what's the play calling? That's a great point, and that could go either way, right? That's a Chad's calling those full time for the first time for this West Virginia team this season, but that could also work to an advantage. So Memphis is going to have some idea. West Virginia's not going to go in and change and come out and run the bone, so to speak. I wouldn't think. So you're going to basically get what you're going to get. You're going to get your package, but what's your nuance? How often do you go with it on fourth? Will Chad be as aggressive? Will he mix in? Do you empty the playbook here? There's no reason to save anything. Might as well throw everything out. So
wrinkles.
You got a little bit of that unknown coming in
Bowl
there.
game wrinkles.
Sure.
You'll get those.
Bone didn't work too good Saturday, did it? Army-Navy.
That was
I got
Navy.
Broken bone.
I tell you what, Navy put up a heck of a performance. That was an incredible performance, especially defensively, I think, by Navy.
Yeah.
It was well done. It was a heck of a... I love that environment. Don't you just love that game?
Yeah, that was a fun game.
Brad and I were working.
I know you were.
Yeah, we were working. Didn't get an opportunity really to see it, but yeah, it's quite a spectacle.
You had a 5 o'clock tip. I understand it.
Yeah, quite a spectacle. Yeah, we'll talk about basketball in just a second here. This is going to be super interesting. We'll see. We'll see how it all goes down. Now, the Rich Rodriguez return on campus on Friday. It was absolutely just, you could not have scripted it. You could not have scripted it the way that it came out.
Electric?
I mean,
but you keep saying that, Tony. Actually, it is the script. We talked about that.
No. There's various elements. I mean, the last time Rich was introduced as West Virginia's head coach, it was in what's now Touchdown Terrace area on the near side of the stadium, okay? And it was a room that shares, I'd say, 100 people maybe in there.
It was a nice crowd.
100 people?
Yeah.
100 people were in there.
Sure.
Nice folded chairs, plastic chairs. Rich got up there, and he gave the thing. And then you come to this thing full circle, right? And instead of the team room, instead of the alumni center or somewhere else in the stadium, he said, no, let's go to the Coliseum, go to the Collie. So go to the Coliseum. And Pat McAfee, within 24 hours, says, I'm going to do my show there. So he brings his show, which just brings this tribe of people with him. They open the concession stands at 10:30. The thing's going to go at 1:30. Pat's on the air live on ESPN from noon until 2, and then on YouTube from 2 until 3. And it just becomes this
spectacle.
It becomes a spectacle. It becomes an infomercial for West Virginia University that you would have to buy. You would have to go to a PR company. Mm-hmm. They would have spent 12 months. Okay, now we're going to have this event, and they would have brought their event planners in, and then they would have the event management team come in. They were going to have structural meetings about how they're going to do it, and then the task force on the committee to have the meeting of how you're going to do this event, and you're going to have. But instead, it was so West Virginia. It was like, Pat can come. Pat's coming. All right, get Pat. What's he need? Table? Yeah, got the table. Okay, go. Just open the doors. And it went like this, man. It mushroomed. And it mushroomed. And by the time they turned the lights out and Rich is standing in the tunnel, ready to walk out there, it was as if West Virginia in that tunnel was about to go out, and it was Kansas Mountaineer basketball, and the place was just...
It was a show. Pyrotechnics
it was
involved.
Got fire. We got fire blowing up in the air, and his highlights are up there. And I was standing next to him, and he's looking up there at the scoreboard, right in the video, and he sees all that stuff, right? All those games, and everybody, and like it was overwhelming. And then you walk out, and the fire and the blowing all up and everything, and the lights are flashing, and they're all standing, and it's loud, and the thing's vibrating. And he walks out there, it's like, what just happened? Right?
Yes.
And it took him back. It took him aback. Mm-hmm. He had no idea that it was going to be like that when he walked out there. Let's face it, man. He's thought about it for a long time, right? He went from, I'll never go back. I'll never get the chance to go back. Maybe one day I'll go back. And then suddenly I'm back. And then, oh my gosh, I really am back. And I don't know how these people are going to react to me. Right? And they went, and they lifted up, and he went, oh. And it wowed him.
It was an event.
Yes.
Yeah, but it was a big event.
And it wowed him.
You know what's wild too, guys, and we talked about this when I said West Virginia won the PR National Championship on the day before the Penn State game. This is the stuff when Ren goes in and says to the university, we're gonna need some help financially. We're gonna need some help financially. This is the payback. This is what your money is going toward, is that PR hop. That was an athletic event. That was a football event, introducing your new old football coach, right? Mm-hmm. But that also was about the brand and about the university, and it helped Darren DeVries in the basketball program too, as it elevated West Virginia's brand up. What your point? I mean, you're clearing on an ESPN platform there for a couple of hours.
Time out. It wasn't ESPN 9. It wasn't ESPN Plus.
Yeah.
It wasn't ESPNU. It was the mothership. It was the ESPN. Now think about that.
That's some unbelievable exposure. So that's part of why when Ren makes that case, that's where you are in this life cycle of athletics, the university, what support should be there, how can they work together to help this. That's what I assume Ren is making the pitch. Like, you guys want to invest, here's what the investment is going for. We're doing that. You're not getting that exposure by anything else on that particular day. And that's twice in 4 months that's happened. Mm-hmm. Hop. So that's part of it too. This was a football event that transcended football and went a little bit further in terms of what it did for West Virginia's brand as a university, I think.
Absolutely. And Brad, as you like to say, he won the news conference plus because of all the things that you guys have talked about. Here's something interesting. I did an online poll.
Excuse me?
Online poll.
Scientific?
No, anecdotal.
Okay.
And it was when the search just began and Rich's name was out there. And I asked the question, and again, it's just people who follow me on the X. Should Rich Rod be in the pool for the next coach? 1,700 votes, 57% no, 43% yes. However, I did a poll yesterday, and this morning...
Scientific?
No, anecdotal. And I said, how do you feel about the hire of Rich Rod? And it was like 1,700 votes again. I mean, it's a bunch of votes. 85% strongly or somewhat support. 85% strongly or somewhat support. 15% oppose. And of those 85%, 60% strongly support. I think that sports are emotional.
Yeah, as we talked about. Yeah.
And so that Friday event, it would be hard to not be caught up in that if you were paying attention. And I think a lot of people got caught up in that wave on Friday.
Well, I said this the other day, and I felt it even more in watching some of this. Oh, by the way, speaking of shout-outs, our guy Ross Mara and the creative team over there.
Sure.
Yeah, they did a good
I mean, you
job.
talk about winning natties. They were winning natties. There were some videos. That one with Rich walking out, it starts with the Madonna song.
Yeah. You watched that
about
one?
100,000 times. I thought it was just awesome. I love that song anyway. But you can say I hate music. Well aware of the Madonna song in there. Got it. Like a prayer. Of course, everybody knew that.
Morgan Wallen.
The symbolism
Taylor
they dropped
Swift.
in there about when it's call my name and then boom, there's Rich's name. I mean, that was awesome. A+ for Ross and his team winning a natty on that particular video. But
wait, real quick. Always a West Virginia connection.
Yeah.
So Ross Marr is a young guy. He's not 30.
I don't think.
He's in his 20s. But he's super talented.
Super talented.
Runs a creative thing. You see all those cinematic movie recaps, that's all Ross, right? So here's the West Virginia connection. His mom, Diane, cheered at WVU with Rita Rodriguez.
Of course she did.
So they'd never met. So Ross goes down there and flies down with Ren to pick him up, does all the video, all that stuff you saw on the airplane. He said, yeah, I'm Diane Cole's, my mom.
Yeah, that's
crazy.
That's another thing.
That's West Virginia.
That's another thing that's different since Rich was here last. That stuff, the stuff they have done to document this has, I think, just been fantastic. Him standing in the facilities building, looking at the Sugar Bowl stuff and the look on his face. I mean, that stuff is priceless and awesome. And so that led me this weekend, Hop, to back up what I said on Thursday's show, where it was fun going back and looking at the 2007 entrance film and watching the United Bank commercial we did, and all that stuff was fun. That was fun to remember that. Nostalgia is powerful.
Oh,
right?
Yes.
It's part of why Mike Tyson and Jake Paul brought all that money into that fight, because you want to go back, and those of us of a certain age want to see Mike Tyson in the ring, even though it's not the same Mike Tyson. The nostalgia is a powerful, powerful tool, and I think that's been on display over these last few days. Now, can you turn around and can you win? And can you win at the clip that you did before? There's a million questions coming on the football side of it. But for this particular part of it, I'm with you. I can see why it's easy to get caught up in this, because this has been fun watching and reminiscing about what once was that is now back.
And as we've talked about before, the literary references and the return of the prodigal son. And then we're waiting to see whether you want him to succeed or you really didn't want him to come back, the final chapters. Either way, you are compelled to pay attention to see what happens, right? So the attraction is there.
Yeah. Going back to the emotional aspect, why do people invest their time, their money, their energy, their passion to follow this? It's a return game, right? I'll give you mine. You have to fill me.
Yeah.
Right? And that hope is what everyone right now is embracing. That's why your poll went so quickly to the other way. So many people have come up to me since going like, I was kind of on the fence, wasn't sure.
Right.
But like that fireman, why? Because you just had your embers restarted, right? They just kind of been, and people have just been wanting that, right?
Yeah.
They want hope. They want hope. And I don't think they felt that in the past, and they wanted that hope. Now, again, the hard part of it is to do it. And the history says statistically he is not going to win at the same percentage, 69%, that he did. However, he doesn't need to win at 69%. If he can get that thing above in the 60s, 64, 65, you're going to be fine. You're going to do really, really well. That's statistically, 69 is like crazy winning, and very, very few do that. But he'll be there. I truly do believe. So is he going to do better? If you did better, you'd be in that. You're winning 11 and 12 games. Probably not, but you're going to be right there. You're going to compete for this championship.
Well, that is you just Tony articulated the expectation.
Sure.
So now you have to meet the expectation.
Sure. Absolutely. There's some people I hadn't seen in 17 years.
Really?
Walked in that room, and it was like, hey, where you been, man? What's going on? Hey. And just like it all came back. It's kind of wild.
It is wild.
Kind of wild. All right, 3 guys before the game, brought to us by Tudor's Biscuit World. Start your day the homemade way. On during the press conference, right on the floor of the press conference, gentleman came up to me.
Yeah,
Mike came up to me and said, "Huge 3 guys list in Florida." So he brought us 3, gave me 3, 1 for each of you. Tudor's Biscuit World Merry Christmas cards.
Thank you for bringing
them
in.
How about that? That's
Start your
Mike
day the homemade
way.
Yeah, from Mike in Florida.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
I think there's $1,000 on each one.
Oh, well, that's a lot of biscuits.
That's nice.
$1,000. You sure? You might double check that. Yeah.
Stunning all 3
Probably
made
enough
them
for a
back to
biscuit.
us.
So, Michael, thank you very, very much, buddy. We appreciate it. And just for the record, I'm giving them each their card.
Actually, there were 6 cards.
They can't complain. But you can start your day the homemade way. Tudor's Biscuit. By the way, when you go in there, get that doggone camo mug. It's my favorite of the year. It costs like $15, $15.99, 24 ounces, hot or cold, doesn't matter. It knows. And every single time you go in there, you can refill this, all 24 of the ounces, for the price of a small coffee or an iced tea.
But how do it know?
It's a hell of a deal, man. Camouflage, right? In case you need to hide it from somebody, go to Tudor's Biscuit World. That's a great deal. So thanks to Tudor's Biscuit
Before
World.
you get into the text, couple shout-outs. You mentioned down in Charleston Friday.
You were down there?
Down there. Just a quick trip down and back. Couple state championship games. Had to call, met a couple of loyal listeners.
Yeah.
One, John in Charleston, by way of Pineville, was nice enough just to come to a screeching halt in the middle of the street to say hello. Went over, talked to him, Hop.
I think he texted in. I think I have a text on that.
Oh, you're going to read that? Okay. Thanks to John. It was great to meet him. And then Shep, Shep that always texts us? Shep that texts in all the time?
I don't know, but I like that name,
Yeah,
Shep.
you know Shep. He texts all the time. His son, Brian, was working the event, came into the booth and said hello, Shep said hello. So
I like
shout out to
Shep.
Brian, Shep, and John.
Shep's one of
Hey,
the
I
good
got a
ones.
shout out too.
Who's yours?
Ran into, hey, Jay, can you put that up? Ran into a former Mountaineer, was out having lunch.
Former Mountaineer player or former Mountaineer mascot?
Former Mountaineer player.
Offensive player, defensive?
Defensive
that's,
player.
That's Willie Edwards.
Willie Edwards.
Number 47. Scored the first points of the 88 season, recovered a blocked punt in the end zone against Bowling Green, and then final game of the regular season, West Virginia goes undefeated, stole the ball, intercepted, had a pick six down the Syracuse sideline, ran it to the hospital side of the stadium.
Teammate of Rich Rod.
Yeah. Teammate of Under Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
You were out and about there.
I was.
Go back to that picture. He has a resemblance there to the actor
Could you put that back up, Jake? Who's
Idris Elba. You know that actor?
Okay.
Looks like him.
I mean, Willie, I was thinking, I told him how old I was, and he said, "You don't look that old." And I looked at I thought, he looks like he's 30.
I know.
And he hasn't played in 40 years or 35 years. I mean, Willie looks great.
Where were you? In Morgantown?
Downtown.
Oh, okay.
Downtown at a lunch establishment.
Out and about having lunch.
Out and about
Good for
having
you,
lunch.
Hop. I mean, you're stepping out here. That's really good. Did you have a good week of vacation since you were here for the 5 days?
The 2.5 days I had off were great. It's okay. It's all right. Duty called.
Yeah, we just kid.
That's what we do.
All right, ready to do this thing? Let's do it. Textual Healing is brought to us by episode800.com. We are getting close, obviously, to Christmas as we record 9 days away. So here's our notes from episode800.com and our sales so far, things that you need to know. Great response on our Mountaineer Munch popcorn. Thank you. If you have not gotten your order yet, it's going to ship no later than this Thursday. If you've ordered Mountaineer Munch no later than this Thursday, you will get tracking notification. You can keep ordering the popcorn on episode 800, but realize it will not be there before Christmas. More to come. We're planning to repeat the Valentine's Day exclusive popcorn after the first of the year, and that will also keep Mountaineer Munch going into the new year. Both will be available at the start of January. Coffee lovers of Game Day Grind, best way to get it right now, you're going to have to visit Mountaineer Roasting, Maple Avenue, right near the hospitals. Buy it there at the store. Rusty has got his, I didn't realize this, he uses elves to roast his coffee. Did not know that. So he's got a bunch of Mountaineer elves, roasting elves, doing Game Day Grind. They've got enough there available to purchase. It's packed up.
That's if you want to by Christmas, go to the store. You can still order that on the website.
Absolutely.
So
everything on episode 800, from popcorn to coffee to apparel, at this point will likely arrive after Christmas if you make your orders now. We do have some very good news on our beer, Connection 304, but that's all I'm allowed to say at this moment.
What?
More to come when we do the episode right before the start of basketball league play on the 31st.
So you just said we've got good news on the beer, but then you stopped?
Yes, Connection 304 still getting good reviews. About a 3.8 rating on Untapped. Very good.
When are you giving the rest of that news?
I said the show before the Kansas game. Coming up soon.
It's very unlike you to actually
Big major announcement on the beer in January.
What is it?
If I told you, I'd have to.
You don't even know. It just.
I do know. It's going to be nice.
That's crazy.
Real nice. Three guys before the game is brought to us by Go-Mart. They sell some Connection 304. And we record on Monday. Don't forget, tomorrow is Triple Point Tuesday.
Oh, that's right.
Go to a Go-Mart on a Tuesday.
Do you have to buy gas?
I do have to buy gas, yeah.
Triple
Use
Point.
some going back and forth to Charleston.
Triple Point Tuesdays. You use your card, you get triple the points. That goes all the way. That's going to last all the way through Merry Madness, December the 31st. So go to Go-Mart. They're just terrific there. Great time of the year. And they got all the kind of good stuff that you want. But Triple Point Tuesday, check it out at Go-Mart. Y'all ready?
Yep. Then this first text really sums up what we were just talking about.
I was a student at WVU during the Rich Rod years, and to say the 7 pit loss was heartbreaking is an understatement. It is a scar we've all lived with for 17 years. I was hardcore, never Rich, but I have to admit, after watching and listening to his speech, he has changed my feelings. It was nostalgic and emotional. It made me feel like I was back in college again. I even shed a tear, which I hadn't done for WVU football since that 2007 loss. I feel like we have an identity again, and I love that. I want to believe his words and emotion were genuine. It felt genuine. The man's so that's what he said. That was his text. He summed it up really well.
Yep.
You know who was really relieved there Saturday at that reception? The director of athletics.
You mean Friday?
Friday.
Yeah, Friday. Yes. Yeah. Sure.
I give Ren credit. He got a little, put a little more air in your helmet, a little more tape on your hands. He got that in the introduction. That was well done.
Someone slid that down.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, he had it.
Yeah. The texter says the man's basketball team is led by a great coach and his sharpshooting son. Rich Rodriguez is the head basketball coach.
Head ball.
Head ball coach. Is this 2024 or 2004?
Very good point.
Yeah. Pat Beeline used to play for the Mountaineers back in that time.
Mm-hmm.
Bobby from Myrtle Beach. I'm not happy to announce I will be entering the portal this week. I appreciate my time as a Mountaineer football fan, but I feel it's for me to best move and go forward. I'll be taking my talents, fandom to Tennessee.
You know, those are fan choices, obviously, but as somebody who's been around a while, I am a fan of the university. You know, I stick with the university. I mean, you have to call them out when things go wrong or they make mistakes, things like that. But there is a loyalty to the university. Coaches come and go. Players come and go. The university is always there.
Yeah. Speaking of the university, I'm
but
glad.
as we've learned, you also have to win. I mean, that's yes. That's the part of it. I mean, I get this. This is going to be a fun, however many months till the first game. This will be a fun off season, and there's some newness and what's going on in the portal, and there'll be a lot to talk about.
Yes.
You're going to have to win games. That's also the part of it. The nostalgia at some point is going to get put on the back burner, and you've got to go win.
Exactly. Yeah.
Speaking of the university, I believe there's a commencement or two this coming weekend, Brad.
Yeah.
The winter
Is that this
graduation.
weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the three guys not named Tony or Brad will be receiving a well-deserved honorary doctorate from the university, from the State Land Grant Institution. Congratulations to you, Hoppy.
I appreciate that.
This is your second doctorate.
Well, it's I think they finally checked. They said, well, he did get his degree.
You give a speech with that? Like brief
remarks.
Brief remarks.
What does that mean?
About a minute and a half. About a minute and a half. I got it down. I wrote it. It's about a minute and a half.
You can do a minute and a half?
I can do a minute and a half. What do you like you? What do you need? You need 30 seconds? You need a minute and a half? You need 2 out? What do you need? We can do it. But seriously, when President Gee called me, I was surprised. I'm very flattered, and it's at the twilight of your career, it's very meaningful to me. Appreciate that.
So with this, do we call you the dean now, or can we call you doctor?
All references should be doctor. Dr. Kercheval would work.
I think we've opened up that can of worms in the past about people that like to be called doctor but aren't really doctors. You know what I mean?
You call me a lot of other things, so whatever you want to call me.
Well, that's awesome.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
That's awesome.
I've been very blessed. Very blessed. Very lucky. Worked hard, got lucky.
Yeah, that comes along with it. Luck is the residue of preparation.
Harder I work, the luckier I got. Yeah. Any more cliches we can throw in there?
Let's just do it. Let's go with this.
All right.
Texter says, I don't want to be angry anymore, but I can also take a step back from my fandom. I follow my beloved Mountaineers 365 days a year. It upsets me that Coach Brown will never get credit for the infrastructure he built. Even though I never agree with some of his philosophies, he can coach my team any day. Now, I have to accept a man who I've been rooting against for 17 years. The only reason I can do it is because I enjoy seeing the former players getting excited, and I like the publicity that the program's receiving. There's absolutely zero grace period, though. Now, win now, or folks like me will turn quickly. Josh and Wheeling. So I edited this next one because it was too long, but I get you the context of what he wrote. First off, meet Rich Rodriguez, the snowman my kids and I built this past Sunday. Do we have the snowman picture? This guy's up in Massachusetts. They had a lot of snow there. Built a big snowman. They called him Rich.
Yeah.
He's obviously a baseball fan, too. He has a baseball cap on there. Anyway, this is what he says in context. I went to the Penn State-Michigan game in Ann Arbor in 2008. We happened to be sitting a few rows behind the Michigan bench. Long story short, I called Rich Rod everything ugly you could call a person under the sky, mostly out of heartbreak. I became so embarrassing, my brother made me leave that game. Fast forward 16 years. I've been moved to tears several times now about Rich coming home. Rich obviously has something to prove, but that's how he's always been wired, and I have faith he will. What do I know, at the very least, is he's bringing back our state, our mentality, and our work ethic. We don't require a national title here, but we do demand respect. Coach Rod will absolutely provide that. Spot the damn ball. Hold the rope, baby. There you go. 3 guys, I wanted to start off with an apology. This morning I was dejectedly leaving my barber after I was realizing I would not have enough time in the day to attend the introductory press conference in Morgantown. I'll be helping my wife prepare for a work holiday party attended by a ton of people I'm not too thrilled to entertain.
Yikes.
I was about to pass by the world-famous Empty Glass on the east end of Charleston when I spotted a gentleman who used to frequent another establishment close by called the Red Carpet Lounge. Yes, Mr. Brad Howell was kind enough to stop and talk to me on his way to the stadium for the championship games. However, I had so many other things on my mind that I must apologize for tripping over my words and not having much to say. That chance encounter, so far, the highlight of my holiday season.
How about that?
Wow. So obviously he hasn't
been a rough holiday season so far.
Thanks for everything you guys do. John from Charleston, by the way, of Pineville.
Brad taking time, heading over, do the game, stop, talk to people.
It was awesome.
Well
Love
done.
to talk to him.
Yeah.
Texter.
Sorry, that was the highlight of the holiday season.
Maybe you'll get better.
You need to aim higher, John.
Might bum out his wife that she finds out he doesn't want anything to do with her piece.
She probably doesn't listen to the show.
Probably not.
3 guys, this year's addition to the holiday inflatable lineup, I have named him Rich. Merry Christmas, Brandon from Herndon, Virginia. Got big old Mountaineer inflatable there.
That's it.
Someone
not the same one that used to be at the Coliseum. Though.
No, that was a
used to
whole
bounce
that was
up and down.
That was his cousin. People, I forgot. Someone texted and said, "Are they going to bring back the inflatable helmet?"
I hope so.
Because you don't have to be in charge of it.
Because I don't have to blow it up.
Brad,
we had a great group that did that.
Did you?
That was a pain.
That was
getting that thing back in the little bag afterwards.
Oh, I bet. How big? Like it was a giant thing. What size was the bag?
Just like a duffel bag. Probably carried on the plane.
Gosh,
our guys had to work hard to get that thing back in the bag.
Can't get all the air out. Still got some air in it.
Sit on it. Just sit on it. Just roll on that thing right there. Just put it in there. Get in the bag.
It's not folded right.
Doug from Sutton, Brad, please do the stat on the number of times that Tony refers to an opposing player as a poor free throw shooter that results in said player making his free throws. I believe this is his only flaw.
The stat's the stat.
I report.
Yeah.
Let the free throw shooter decide whether he's good or bad. Imagine my surprise when the woman sitting next to me said she was a player's mother. Not just any player, but Jake Auer. I enjoyed chatting with her the entire game, but the best came when Jake hit his 4th three-pointer in just 2 games.
Catch the over.
And he hit the over on the Jake Auer over-under. We got to high-five and cheer for Jake. P.S. She did say that she knows about you, Brad. P1 listener, Martha.
Our guy did it again.
He's money.
He, as you correctly pointed out when we were watching, Hop, when he got in, we were rightfully worried that there wouldn't be enough possessions to get the shot off. Jake only needs one possession. Mm-hmm. Got the shot in the corner, boom, banged it, 4-3 and of the week. His parents were in town, that's why, as the texter said there. So that was fun that they were here and they got to see Jake knock one down.
Texter says, my girlfriend and I are both stationed at Shepherd Air Force Base in Texas. We had the wonderful opportunity in September to drive out to West Virginia. I could show her our beautiful state. We got to see the backyard brawl, take a tour of the football facility, tailgate at the Country Roads tent, and see the home game against Kansas. There you go. They were at Pitt there. And they brought her, and then they came in, stayed for the Kansas game. So they were here all week. And when she got her first pepperoni roll, witnessed the greatest tradition of all, the singing of Country Roads. I was being bummed that Kansas game was probably the last time I was going to see the team play this year, but I was thrilled to see the world champion Mountaineers are going to be playing their bowl game just 2 hours away from us. Of course, we got our tickets right away. We listen to you guys every week. Can't wait to finish out the season watching our boys in person.
There you go.
He said, P.S. I got some Mountaineer munch for a Christmas present for my dad. Of course, I had to snag a bag for me as well. So there you go. Thank you very much. We do appreciate that. How about this? I had not seen these. This was before I got to West Virginia. I didn't realize that they bottled the bourbon the year that the Mountaineer Field opened up, 1980. And this texter says, bourbon from 1980, opening the new stadium. See that, Hop? That bad boy's now 45 years old. Also got some Connection 304 there to the side. I'm waiting for a national championship to open the bottle of bourbon. Jeff from Sandyville.
I don't.
Oh, that's well. There's 304 right there. Connection 304.
Yeah. What, Hop?
I don't think it continues to age after it's bottled. I think it's aged prior to bottling. I think
then it's done.
Then it's done, I think.
So you're saying crack that thing open. Let's go. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm just making an somewhat obvious observation. Let me double check that. Want to check that?
Yeah. Rick Harshbarger. Did we do this last show?
I don't
when he
think
sent
so.
those cookies, those candy cane cookies?
I remember eating the candy cane cookies.
They're tremendous. So thanks, Rick Harshbarger. We do appreciate that. Rick's got a milestone coming up. Milestone, Hoppy.
He's
2 billionth game in a row.
Yeah, so here it is, man. Rick, everyone likes to be say, hey, I don't miss a game. Right now, Rick Harshbarger, who lives in the East, there in Romney, he's at 564 consecutive Mountaineer basketball home games.
Oh, my gosh.
Started with the UMass game January of 1987. Has not missed a home game since. It's going to come to an end, though. This coming January the 18th, the streak's ending.
What?
He's at what now? 564?
He's at 564. It's going to end at 569. It's going to be Jerry West Day when West Virginia plays Iowa State. His family bought him a trip, a Disney thing, so he literally won't be there. But my guy will go to 569 in a row.
Wow, incredible.
There's no one. Don't even start and say you were there. Don't. I've been to 792. You missed one somewhere. This guy hasn't missed.
Didn't he leave a hospital
He
once?
did. He was hospitalized and he left.
Checked himself out.
Checked himself out, went to the game, went back to the hospital.
You know what's scary about that? He was the one doing the surgery when he left and came back, finished the surgery.
I just thought he could have. I thought he could have changed out of the gown before he got to the Coliseum.
That is amazing. My
okay,
gosh.
now next up.
Good run, Rick.
Thank you, Charlie from Midlothian. Hoppy.
Yes. Oh, what do you got?
He sent us Harry and David pears.
Oh, I love those.
I know they're awesome.
Yeah.
So these guys are each going to get their pears, Charlie. Thank you very much. Now, he also texted. He said this last show. To answer Hoppy's question, how did they get 3 people in their family to steal all that gas at Kroger?
I don't think he's stealing the gas.
No, taking advantage of the 35
the
gallons.
Coordination was the question.
He says, our daughter will either call or text me and ask if we're going to go be gassing the cars soon. Now, listen. At that point, we'll all agree to a day and a time to meet at our favorite pump at the Kroger's. Me on one side and our daughter waiting behind her mom, and there you have it. There you go.
They coordinate.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good family get-together.
Charlie also asked this. Do you think Reggie Theus was making sure that the bettors were covered at the end of the game not to give Jake an opportunity to drain another 3. That was a bad beat, right? That turned out to be a bad beat.
On the toe, I didn't even.
I think it was 23 or something like that. Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
I think he means Jake's over.
Yeah.
Over under on Jake's.
No. I think he's talking about. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I think he means Jake's over.
I think the game was too. I don't know.
Well, it's fun talking to Reggie Theus. We talked to him before the game.
We talked to him, man.
Oh, yeah?
19,000 points in the league, all-star.
NBA Rookie of the Year.
Actor.
He did the game?
He coaches
for Bethune-Cookman.
Oops.
And Director of Athletics.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
We rolled right up. Had to talk to him. I had a bunch of his basketball cards up. I was going to go talk to Reggie Theus.
Oh, wow.
He was really nice.
Was he? Yes. Yeah, it was great.
Yes. Yeah. So, all right, here we go. Season's greetings to the 3 wise men. The transfer portal giveth, the transfer portal taketh. This year it tooketh away an appearance in the Independence Bowl from a 10-3 Marshall team. How does this get fixed, Rick and Elkins? That was bizarre.
Yeah.
That is bizarre.
Like 30-plus players.
You hope that becomes something of a precedent, and so the people that, the college football world figures out a way that can never happen again.
We don't have time to get into it now, but it is odd that you're jamming signing day, opening of the transfer portal, and bowl games all in this 3-week period. The portal, you've obvious observation. You've got to do something on the timing of this. It does hurt these games. There is no question. But you've also got, and I know we haven't talked about academics since 2009 as it relates to athletics. I understand. But you've got the second semester starting at a lot of places. So these guys that are transferring are trying to get enrolled for second semester at times. So you can't just back the portal up without adjusting an academic calendar, which you're not going to do. So as always, there's a lot of moving parts in college sports. But the way you're doing it just does not make a lot of sense.
But it doesn't. And part of the issue is, name me another sport that stops and then restarts. Okay.
Yeah.
We say, well, it used to be like, there's only a few bowl games.
There's less of a gap now. That's right. You're right. It just, the fact that you're having player movement is really making it even more odd.
So
than
we
it's always
either
been.
adjust when the bowls are, which will probably never happen, or adjust when the portal opens.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. The portal's up against when school begins, second semester in some places.
Penn State's backup quarterback left. Said, I'm not going to playoffs. See you. Out. See you. Last text.
Okay.
Tony Brad and the Christmas help. Mailman from Mercer County. A great listener of ours, remember? Here's his picture. He says, I am ready. Those glasses, you can't see that picture really good, but on the lens it says spot the ball. Those were spot the ball sunglasses.
So he's held on to those that long. How about that?
Rich had those wraparounds. Remember, Rich used to see those wraparounds?
I remember.
He was early on in the whole sunglass wraparound thing.
Yes.
And now it's very common, but he was.
Yeah. So a lot's going to be happening, obviously.
Oh, my gosh.
Players. Who's staying, who's leaving. Staff. Who's coming? Who's coming back? Who's coming back?
So the only one that I had leaving before the bowl game was Trotters. Is somebody else out before?
Jalen Anderson's gone. Crandall's gone.
There's some others.
Are there? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you
Justin, did I say Justin Robinson?
No.
Oh,
he's gone.
He's gone? Okay.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you're about 4 snaps away, Hoppy, from being out there in the receiver rotation.
And then certainly if Rich Rod brings his own staff, most of the staff leaves, they're going to take guys with them. So
sure. How many guys from Jacksonville State come with Rich?
Well, Brad was laying that out last show.
Right?
Yeah.
And how many of those guys? Saw a few of those guys jump into the portal this weekend.
Time of change.
Yeah. So we encourage you to keep it here for our Three Guys podcast. We'll have a lot more football than normal in the winter months. Normally it's all basketball. We'll be doing a lot of both, right?
A lot to talk about.
We do have schedule issues too that we need to discuss. Yeah. We won't do it on the air, but we need to discuss schedule.
What does that mean?
So it's easy to just subscribe and follow to know when the.
Yeah, because someone sent me a text today and said, "Did you guys change your schedule?" Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, there's a lot. We travel. Unlike some people, we don't go on vacation, but we travel.
Was I here for both shows?
For work.
Was I here last week?
of this.
Brad, was I here?
Yeah, I don't know why he took a shot at you there. It
That's
was
the
unnecessary. There'll be times to take shots at you later. I don't know why he did it right there.
I don't either.
That's the last guy.
But there's basketball games come at different times of the week, so it's not always Monday, Thursday anymore.
Correct.
So just follow and subscribe. We'll get into it.
Just subscribe so you'll get a little notification.
Yep.
So you wear like a hood when you do this doctorate thing?
Or a hat. You get a hat? Who wears the hats?
They do ask you. They ask me for my hat size.
Yeah, I think you get a hat. You get a nice one of those big floppy hat things.
When was the
Yeah, you
last
get
time?
the floppy. You get the floppy. You don't get the
You're
standard.
a big hat
Oh,
guy.
really?
You don't get the mortar. You get a big old floppy hat.
Yeah, you wore a hat different every Three Guys event. This will be a nice hat.
This will be.
You're gonna look like Corky the Clown.
What is my?
Jester saying for the king and queen in a coat he borrowed from James Dean.
It's one of those things.
What NIL can I get if I wear a Three Guys cap?
We'll take care of you.
Yeah, I'll work on that.
Get you a big bag of popcorn. Yeah. By the way, I've made progress on the sign situation in Martinsburg on that Mountaineer popcorn deal. Remember I told you?
Oh yeah.
About that. They had a fish business in there and wouldn't put the sign. I'm making progress.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Shocking they didn't make it worse. Making it better.
So it's all good.
Trying to help.
Special
City affairs now. Get involved in city affairs.
You going to the
zone board meeting?
Going to the zoning meeting?
Zoning meeting.
Well,
Telling to be on hand representing.
just do it for the kids.
We're just trying to help the popcorn industry in the Eastern Panhandle.
Three Guys, a special thanks to our producer, Jake. Three Guys brought to us by Comax Business Systems, keeping West Virginia's business data safe and secure and efficient for 25 years. By Gomart. Get a Gomart rewards card. Go to gomart.com for details. By Lou Wendell Marine Sales in St. Albans. They sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com. An award-winning business.
Nina, Pinta,
And
Santa
the Lou
Maria.
Wendellino. By Tudor's Biscuit World. Start your day the homemade way with a Tudor's biscuit. And by the Conley CPA Group, providing value beyond numbers. We'll be back on later this week to recap the football bowl game, to preview the final non-conference basketball game, which takes place Sunday. Hoppy, congratulations. Senator, we out. See y'all.